Unveiling the unknowns. Hello guys, welcome to our deep dive into the world of conspiracy theories. In this video, we're diving into chemtrail theory. The chemtrail conspiracy theory is a belief suggesting that enduring condensation trails observed in the sky, left by aircraft flying at high altitudes are, in reality, chemtrails composed of chemical or biological agents dispersed for undisclosed and dubious purposes. Adherents of this conspiracy theory argue that while typical contrails disperse relatively quickly, persistent contrails must contain additional substances. Those who endorse this theory propose various potential motivations for the alleged chemical release, including solar radiation management, weather modification, psychological manipulation, human population control, biological or chemical warfare, or the testing of agents on populations, with claims that these trails lead to respiratory illnesses and other health problems. Despite these claims, the scientific community has unequivocally rejected the chemtrail conspiracy theory. There is no substantive evidence indicating that purported chemtrails differ from the regular water-based contrails commonly left by high-altitude aircraft under specific atmospheric conditions. Attempts by proponents to demonstrate the occurrence of chemical spraying have been consistently undermined by flawed analyses or misconceptions. Given the persistence of this conspiracy theory and lingering questions about potential government involvement, scientists and government agencies worldwide have repeatedly clarified that the presumed chemtrails are in fact typical contrails. The term chemtrail is a fusion of chemical and trail, analogous to how contrail combines condensation and trail. This conspiracy theory, while widely disseminated, lacks empirical support, and is refuted by the rigorous examination conducted by the scientific community and government agencies. Should we always believe in scientific opinion? Let's dive deeper in this topic to find out. History of chemtrails. The propagation of chemtrail conspiracy theories originated in the aftermath of the United States Air Force, USAF, releasing a report on weather modification in 1996. Following the publication of this report, accusations arose in the late 1990s, asserting that the USAF was engaged in clandestine activities, specifically, spraying the US population with mysterious substances from aircraft, resulting in the formation of unusual contrail patterns. Individuals such as Richard Fink and William Thomas disseminated these theories on internet forums, gaining further momentum through the amplification by late-night radio host Art Bell, beginning in 1999. This surge in conspiracy theories led to an inundation of federal officials with irate calls and letters. In an attempt to address and dispel these rumors, a multi-agency response was initiated, involving government agencies and scientific organizations. The goal was to provide accurate information and debunk the chemtrail conspiracy theories. Despite these efforts, the conspiracy theories continue to persist, fueled by misinformation and a distrust of official explanations. The scientific community and government agencies have conducted extensive research and investigations into the chemtrail conspiracy theories. These studies have consistently found no evidence to support the existence of chemtrails as described by conspiracy theorists. The formation of persistent contrails is a natural phenomenon caused by the combination of high-altitude aircraft emissions and specific atmospheric conditions. The persistence of contrails can vary depending on factors such as temperature, humidity, and wind patterns. In conclusion, the history of chemtrails is rooted in conspiracy theories that emerged in the late 1990s. Despite extensive scientific research and debunking efforts, these theories continue to persist due to misinformation and a distrust of official explanations. The scientific consensus is clear. Chemtrails are not a real phenomenon, and the persistent contrails observed in the sky are a natural occurrence. Advocates of the chemtrail conspiracy theory contend that chemtrails can be distinguished from contrails based on their prolonged duration, suggesting that these trails left by aircraft persist for extended periods, sometimes transforming into cirrus-like clouds. According to proponents, a notable shift in the chemical composition and increased longevity of contrails occurred after 1995, a claim that overlooks evidence of enduring contrails captured in World War II-era photographs. Proponents characterize contrails as persistent streams that linger for hours, forming large clouds through crisscross, grid-like, or parallel stripe patterns. They identify markers of chemtrails such as visible color spectra in the streams, unusual concentrations of sky tracks in a specific area, or lingering tracks left by unmarked or military airplanes flying at atypical altitudes or locations. Additionally, proponents often point to photographs of barrels installed in aircraft passenger spaces, asserting that these images show aerosol dispersion systems. However, the actual purpose of these barrels is to simulate passenger or cargo weight, with water pumped between them to test different centers of gravity during flight. Former CIA employee and whistleblower Edward Snowden, during an interview on The Joe Rogan Experience, asserted that his extensive search through classified U.S. government information found no evidence supporting the existence of chemtrails. Jim Marrs cited a 2007 Louisiana television station report as evidence for chemtrails, claiming that unsafe levels of barium were detected beneath a crosshatch of supposed chemtrails. However, subsequent analysis revealed that the equipment had been misused, and the reading exaggerated by a factor of 100. In May 2014, a viral video showed a commercial passenger airplane landing on a foggy night, purportedly emitting chemtrails. However, Discovery News pointed out that passengers behind the wings would have witnessed any spraying, rendering secrecy improbable. Similarly, a video in October 2014, depicting a plane jettisoning fuel during an emergency landing in Sao Paulo, was initially cited as evidence of chemtrails, but was later revealed to be a prank. Chemtrail believers often attribute the supposed chemicals to substances like barium and aluminum salts, polymer fibers, thorium, or silicon carbide. They interpret cloud seeding programs and climate engineering research as supporting evidence for the conspiracy. However, these interpretations are not substantiated by scientific evidence and are widely discredited by experts in atmospheric science and aviation. The internet and radio programs have been instrumental in disseminating various iterations of the chemtrail conspiracy theory. Dedicated websites have surfaced, and the theory has found resonance within far-right groups due to their inherent distrust of the government. A 2014 review of 20 chemtrail websites revealed that believers often invoke scientific language in their arguments, yet they reject the conclusions of academic or government-employed scientists. The scientific community and federal agencies consistently refute the existence of chemtrails, asserting that the observed sky tracks are simply persistent contrails. The review also highlighted that proponents typically view chemtrails as indicative of a global conspiracy, attributing various motives such as financial gain, population control, or weapons testing. One prevalent notion is that clouds are seeded with electrically conductive materials as part of a massive electromagnetic superweapons program linked to the High-Frequency Active Auroral Research Program, HAARP. Believers assert that chemtrails are toxic, expressing widespread fear, anxiety, sadness, and anger. A 2011 study found that 2.6% fully embraced the conspiracy theory, while 14% held partial belief. An analysis of responses to the 2016 Cooperative Congressional Election Study indicated that 9% of respondents considered it completely true that the government had a secret program using airplanes to disperse harmful chemicals, with an additional 19% deeming it somewhat true. Chemtrail conspiracy theorists often describe their awakening to the theory as a quasi-religious conversion experience. This realization compels them to engage in advocacy through various means, including attending events and conferences on geoengineering. Some have even resorted to sending threats to academics working in the geoengineering field. Drawing inspiration from Wilhelm Reich, some chemtrail believers have constructed devices using crystals and metal filings in an attempt to clear the sky of perceived chemtrails. In their pursuit of evidence, chemtrail believers often gather and test samples independently, eschewing reliance on government or academic laboratories. However, their experiments are frequently flawed, falling short of scientific standards. Incidents. In 2001, prompted by requests from constituents, U.S. Congressman Dennis Kucinich introduced the Space Preservation Act of 2001. This legislation aimed to permanently prohibit the deployment of weapons in space, and included chemtrails as one of several exotic weapons slated for prohibition. Supporters of the chemtrail conspiracy theory have interpreted this explicit mention of chemtrails as an official acknowledgement by the government. However, skeptics point out that the bill also references extraterrestrial weapons and environmental, climate, or tectonic weapons. Despite receiving an unfavorable assessment from the United States Department of Defense, the bill ultimately died in committee. None of the subsequent failed attempts by Kucinich to enact a Space Preservation Act contained any reference to chemtrails in their texts. In 2003, in response to a petition from concerned Canadian citizens regarding the alleged adverse health effects of chemicals used in aerial sprayings, The government House leader issued a statement. The response stated that there was no substantiated scientific evidence supporting the claim of high-altitude spraying in Canadian airspace, dismissing the term chemtrails as a popularized expression. The House leader expressed the belief that petitioners were observing regular airplane condensation trails or contrails. In the United Kingdom in 2005, Elliot Morley, a Minister of State for the Department for Environment, Food and Rural Affairs, addressed a question from David Drew, the Labour Party Member of Parliament for Stroud, regarding research on the polluting effects of chemtrails from aircraft. Morley responded that the department was not conducting research on chemtrails, as they were not scientifically recognized phenomena. Instead, efforts were focused on understanding how contrails are formed and their effects on the atmosphere. During the California drought from 2011 to 2017, certain local politicians in Shasta County responded credulously to conspiracy theories, suggesting that the unusual weather conditions were caused by weather-modifying chemtrails. Conclusions. The chemtrail conspiracy theory, despite its widespread dissemination and persistent belief among certain communities, lacks empirical support and is widely discredited by scientific evidence. The scientific community, including atmospheric scientists, experts in climate, and relevant government agencies, consistently assert that the observed phenomena attributed to chemtrails are, in fact, characteristic features of contrails responding to atmospheric conditions. What do you think, guys, about chemtrails? Let me know in the comment section, and remember to like and subscribe to my channel.